JavaScript, Python, Rust, C Sharp, C++, all these languages. So many of them out there, even the ones I actually fail not to mention right now. Which one do you think is 10 over 10? Like, which one do you think is king? Which one do you think is actually hitting the market so hard these days, So, personally, I'm somebody coming from a JavaScript world. So, JavaScript is the only language I know that I've actually worked with. But from my own personal experience, if you ask me how is JavaScript, I would say JavaScript is 10 over 10. From mobile to web apps to complex programs, some complex applications is there. In fact, JavaScript is the world, like it's the world most used language. Based on my own personal experience, please, based on my own personal background. Because I've seen cases where people say Python is the contender, like it's also king because people use Python a lot. But for me, JavaScript is king. JavaScript is in fact is the world is number one programming language out there. Just like what I've mentioned before. When it comes to mobile apps, is there web apps, is there complex programs, applications is there for you. So I don't know for you, just like every developer, every programmer have their own personal language, what they choose and which one they have mastered and which one they have really worked with. But for me personally, a JavaScript. When I started JavaScript, it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't funny at the same time because I had no background knowledge. I had no knowledge. There is no background knowledge for me when it comes to programming. But when I started, it was a little bit difficult. But with time, I was able to progress. I was able to understand what is actually happening behind the scene. That was how I actually got to know about JavaScript. Just like I've said it so many times on this channel, learning JavaScript was so tough for me. I spent literally more than 4 months only on JavaScript, At the same point, I actually went into tutorial hell, so it wasn't easy for me. But when I ask now, just like I'm asking now, which language you think is 10 over 10, like that has it all, like when it comes to development, when it comes to most things in the world now, right now, whether you're a software engineer, a web developer, a DAS, whatever part you are in, which language do you think is reigning so hard, that is so popular, that is used mostly in any project? To me, I would say JavaScript. Some people will say Python, Python and JavaScript, they're just more like, to me, it's more like brother and sister. It's either you are in for Python or you are in for JavaScript. That's just what I would say. So now some people will now say Python is the number one. Some people will say JavaScript is number one. But at the same time, for me, a JavaScript. I've seen cases where people say, okay, for a beginner who wants to start programming, which language should they start with? Some people say, go for Python. And Python is very easy for a beginner to master and to get hands-on with. While some people say, start with JavaScript. For me personally, I started with JavaScript because when I started, I knew of Python, but because I was actually into web development and I've passed through HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Tailwind, and all of that. So the next one I needed to do is JavaScript. That was how I got into JavaScript. So right now, but if you are somebody who actually started with Python, no problem. So now to you, now it might be Python for you based on your own particular use case. But for me, actually, I would say it's JavaScript because I have done so many projects on JavaScript from currency converter, census converter, music player, to-do list, music, so many projects out there, weather apps and all of that, I've done all of these things. And when looking at, even when it comes to so many web apps I've seen, mobile apps and all of that, JavaScript is there. JavaScript is so cool and it's so fucking crazy at the same time. And which is the reason why I love that project though. I love that language so much. But if you ask me right now, like, I've actually mastered it. I would not say nobody is a king of any programming language. Though people are king, people are actually what king of it. But somebody who made JavaScript is certainly king of JavaScript. But somebody who is just learning it, based on his or her career, is not, well, I'm not saying the person is a king, but the person is somebody who have actually mastered it. If you, even though you asked the person, because I learned from my mentors, people who I'm working with, people who I look up to, they will just say that I'm just a regular guy who is just trying to get to know how to use this language to do what I want, to do my biddings. That's how they usually say it. A regular guy who's trying to use this language to do what he or she wants. Just sometimes they'll say, bend it to what I want to it to do for me. So that's how they say it. So I believe nobody's actually what a master of this. We are all learning. Most times it's all about Googling stuff. You know, the last video I made, I talked about math. Do you need to be a mathematician? Do you need to be good at maths before you're able to be a good developer or a good programmer? You know, some people said you need to be good at maths, especially when you're dealing with complex project or complex applications, which is true. When it comes to complex apps or projects, there is a kind of a high level of math you need to deal with. You know, but when it comes to doing like maybe simple or more like a medium project, you don't need most of all these things. Just like you need to deal with more like googling stuff and all of that. That's just it. Like I said, it's not about memorizing. It's all about knowing what you want and trying to make it do what you want. That's just the whole thing for me. So I don't know for you. So any language you feel is the top 10, or maybe it's 10 over 10 for you, please just comment below and I would love to hear from you. So thanks guys once again. Smash the like button, right? So it will be pushed, this video will be pushed out to people who are looking for content like this, and at the same time, subscribe to the channel, guys. Appreciate you guys. See you guys on the next one. Peace and bye for now.